Oh, the women. They drained me. They drained me of my soul. Welcome in, you guys. We got One Piece. Chapter 1141, full spoilers today. If you haven't read the full spoilers yet, I will be linking them down below as per usual, and also linking the tweet I got it from over on Pew Piece's Twitter account. But we're here because we got a lot more context as to what the hell the brief spoilers we're talking about, right? Because come yesterday, I was kind of confused. I was like, okay, there's got to be more to it. You know, how did we get here? How did we get there? And these full spoilers really cleared things up. And you can tell, you know, maybe it's just me, but you can tell that Oda is hinting that things may take a turn in the future. So, to start things off, you know, we're going to go at this as chronologically as possible, but we see Frankie and Ripley walking around the Atom Tree. Last we saw, they ran into the mural, but now that we're past that, they're going and taking a look at the branches, and apparently each and every branch of the Atom Tree holds significant meaning. It holds a certain history. But one branch to Frankie and Ripley stood out in particular, and it's a branch that was cut off. Frankie's like, wait, what the hell happened here? Ripley says that a village named Hagen used to be there, but one day, we don't get a timeline, but she says one day, lightning struck and they had to cut that branch off, or else the fire would have spread to the main tree. And she says that this tree is so old that just happens. There's no way around it. And she later says that fire and lightning are pretty much Elbaph's main weakness. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's a really ominous thing to say. It kind of feels like Oda's telling us that in the future, you know, this tree might just catch fire or lightning might strike it, which yesterday I did not put the pieces together, and I apologize. A lot of you guys in the comment section were just throwing it at me like, Sai, the mural, Sai, look at the damn mural. And my bad. I completely forgot. It totally just slipped my mind at the time. But yes, now that we have Ripley talking about this, now that we know that lightning can destroy this tree if the fire from the lightning spreads too far, I think it's pretty much set in stone that this tree is going to go down one day. And one thing to keep in mind is that in the mural, the lightning bolt didn't just, you know, come from a natural disaster. It wasn't raining and then lightning just boom. No. In that mural, the lightning specifically came from something that looked like the Arc Maxim, a Nell's ship, right? It could be a different ship, another flying ship, but it looks like the Arc Maxim to me right now. So now I'm just wondering, when is this going to happen? And if this does happen, does this confirm that the mural, because remember, the lightning bolt comes from the right side, does this confirm that the mural is all of the third world, the present? Because that's kind of the mindset I was of, but of course I've seen a lot of pushback saying, oh, the right side's the first world or the second world or vice versa. And now it's like, wait, like if this is an event that hasn't happened yet, yeah, this is the third world here, which I think would be a massive revelation. But yes, getting back to the brass tacks, Ripley saying that lightning and fire are Elbaph's main weakness, and then Oda cutting away from that, I think it's pretty much set in stone that this tree is just done. It's absolutely cooked. It's like me saying, hey guys, I'm gonna go outside and I hope I don't get shot today. And it's like, ooh, am I gonna get shot? You know what I mean? Like, it sounds foreboding. Like, who does that? Like, yeah, by the way, man, I would really hate it if I just fell and broke my toes. And it's like, whoa, huh? You know, like, am I gonna break my toes? I don't know. That's just kind of what it seems like to me. I mean, you see this in a lot of, you know, animes and stories in general, and even TV shows. It's just one of those things where they're kind of jinxing it at that point. So after Frankie and Ripley's little adventure, we cut over to the party. Nami, Road, and the council guards have made it back on the Yusval. Of course, Luffy and Zoro are not here because they're going to go free Loki, which we'll get to here in a second. But Nami finds Usopp, and Usopp is absolutely blasted. This guy is probably the drunkest we have ever seen in One Piece, right? Beforehand, I think the only other time we've seen Usopp really drinking was not even Water 7. I guess it was just Whiskey Peak, right? Because Usopp drank at Whiskey Peak and then he passed out, and that was that. But right here, Usopp is so drunk, he calls Luffy Luby, he calls Zoro Roro. Usopp is just straight up having a good time. And honestly, I don't blame him, right? He's been wanting to come here for the longest time ever, and now that he's here, all the giants and all of his friends are throwing the Straw Hats a feast. So yeah, you know, Usopp, drink it up, man. But it just kind of sucks knowing that we kind of need him soon, right? Like, the God Knights are here, Loki's free, so it's like, ooh, Usopp, Can you sober up, man? I don't know. Maybe he has like a plant that sobers him up. Maybe like it's a gag and like he instantly just eliminates all the alcohol out of his body. But yes, Usopp is wondering where Luffy and Zoro went, and Nami just says, I don't know, like, think maybe they're exploring, and Usopp's like, yeah, you're right, like, that's great, man. And it's kind of funny because Nami doesn't want to tell Usopp about this because Usopp might be a little bit, you know, apprehensive of the idea of freeing Loki, right? Usopp does not want to antagonize the Giants or do anything that might cause Elbaph trouble. So of course Nami is lying right here. And since they're surrounded by giants, again, another reason why you don't want to mention Loki in this context. So after Nami and Usopp have this conversation, Usopp turns to Jorul, you know, the oldest giant in existence, and he says, hey Jorul, isn't our navigator the greatest? And Jorul says, yep. What a beautiful woman. Usopp says, ah, Jorul, you perverted old man. I gotta ask, what's your type of woman? You know, what kind of lady do you like? And that's when Jorul says, my type? Well, I like older women. See, yesterday when I said that, a lot of people instantly went to emu. They're like, oh, this is a, you know, emu reference. Ooh, maybe it's, you know, Big Mom, Mother Carmel. And I was like, whoa, those are some good ideas. But I wasn't exactly sold yet. But now that we have the full spoilers, you know, we get another line from Usopp and Jorul's conversation that pretty much confirms to me that I think they're referring to Emu, or this might be a hint that Emu is an old woman, because Usopp says, yeah, right, like someone like that would exist. And I'm like, okay, just like the fire comment from Ripley, right? Ripley saying, oh, you know, fire and lightning, they're Elbaph's greatest weakness. Just like that comment, I feel like Usopp's jinxing it. Usopp saying that there should not be a woman like that that exists. I'm like, okay, now it's like set in stone, right? We're just gonna meet an old woman, someone who's older than Jorul, who, keep in mind, is 408 years old. Bro, the only person that would fit that description would probably be Emu. Unless there's like another woman we have not met yet, right? I think that's also a possibility. Maybe there's like a woman in the Holy Land, or, you know, a Void Century woman just kind of wandering around that is alive. Or maybe even Queen Lily, right? Queen Lily apparently never made it back to Alabasta. We don't really know what happened to her. Did Emu kill her? Up in the air. So there's a lot of possibilities here, but I think Oda is heavily hinting that an older woman will make an appearance soon. So now, we cut over to Road and Gared. Gared, being the new Giant Warrior Pirates doctor, is helping out Road and the castle guards, and she's kind of wondering, like, hey, what happened? You know, like, why are you guys hurt? Road obviously tries to lie for the Straw Hats because, again, they don't want to mention Loki, but Gared notices that something is up, they're acting fishy, so she beats him up, and he spills the beans. And by the way, Sanji is in here as well. Sanji is kind of simping for Gared. He's like, hey, where's Gared? So he follows her. But yes, now that Road has spilled the beans, the new Giant Warrior Pirates, Gared, Goldberg, Road, Stanson, and Hajrudin, they go after Luffy, right? Because they do not want him to let Loki go. And that is when we cut away and we see that Luffy and Zoro have already arrived right in front of Loki. So apparently the Cerberus is no longer there. All that's left is a, you know, death state Loki. And before they release him, Zoro says, wait a minute, Luffy. I don't know if I can trust this guy yet. You know, I gotta test his character. I gotta ask him some questions. So what Zoro does to test if Loki is actually injured and all this good stuff is he kicks Loki. Loki ends up screaming out in pain because obviously the guy got beaten and stabbed like 3 times. So yeah, Loki's not doing too great. So in regards as to how they want to free Loki, Zoro comes up with a genius suggestion. Something that really just made me stop and appreciate Zoro for a second. But Zoro says, hey, let's let him go. But let's also keep his ankle chain on, which is, of course, made out of sea stone. So if Loki goes crazy, they don't have to like fight an extreme diff, high diff battle, right? Like Loki will be nerfed. So I was like, wow, that's actually a really good idea. It kind of sucks for us though, as readers, because that means we won't be able to see Loki's transformation or whatever devil fruit power he has, since it is sea stone. But yeah, I thought that was a big one up from Zoro, and it really showed that Zoro thinks things through sometimes, right? Which is weird, right? It sounds like a backhanded compliment, but come on, it's Zoro, right? The guy gets lost like 24/7. So we go on, and Luffy says, hey, since Loki is heavily injured, we need to take him to a doctor. Ideally, we take him to Chopper, But Chopper is too far. Chopper is at the Owl Library. So instead, let's actually go get a village doctor to check on Loki. Zoro says, hey, Luffy, that might be a bad idea, because if the giants figure out that we've liberated Loki, they might banish us from Elbaph. And Luffy, just like how Zoro surprised me, Luffy surprised me because he says that he doesn't care if they get banished. He wants to get Loki a doctor regardless. And I'm like, damn. Like, Luffy, wow, he's going out of his way for Loki. I can't tell if it's because Luffy made a promise to Loki, or if because he just feels bad for him because he's in this, disheveled, near-death state. Just kind of shows that Luffy is really mature about this, right? Elbaph was one of Luffy's dreams too. As much as Usopp wanted to come here, Luffy did too. So he's risking banishment just to help Loki, a guy that he's known for like maybe 10 minutes, right? I thought that was really impressive. I think it shows a lot of character. And I really liked Luffy and Zoro in this chapter. I really do. So they go on, and Luffy says, obviously, it's Luffy. He says, hey, like, not just the doctor, but we need to get Loki some food, right? You can't heal if you don't eat some food. Zoro looks around at all of the defeated animals from Gunko and Shamrock's endeavors, and he says, hey, there's actually, like, animals over here, Luffy. They've already been defeated. Why not just cook them up and serve them to Loki? Luffy gets really angry about this, saying, no, those animals are my friends. We don't cook our Nakama. Zoro's like, okay, fine, right? And I thought that was just funny, like, Luffy, again, just like how Luffy only knew Loki for a little bit, he only knew these animals for a brief moment, and he's already bonded with all of them. So as Zoro and Luffy are having this conversation, that is when the Zval from the Sun World falls down. We see that the new giant warrior pirates, along with Sanji decided to stop by as well because he's following Gared. They all make their entrance here. Obviously, the Zval can't function down in the underworld, so they're actually falling. Luffy uses Gumu Gumu no Balloon and saves all of them. And now we got Hajrudin saying, hey, Luffy, please do not let Loki go. Loki is a bad guy. He's gonna betray you. He's lying to you. Like, Hajrudin is going down the list just slandering Loki. Hajrudin is trying his absolute best to convince Luffy and Zoro that Loki should not be freed. And I love that Hajrudin is doing it this way, by the way. I was wondering if he was gonna come in here and just, throw words at them, or if he would actually try to stop them physically. But I think throwing words like this makes the most sense because, remember, Luffy is his captain, right? That is his fleet commander, his Yonko. So I actually really enjoy that he's trying to talk things through here. I thought, again, that shows like Luffy's status in a way. So after Hajrudin finishes his speech, Zoro says, hey, Hajrudin, it's a little bit too late for that, man. And Hajrudin's like, wait, what? And that is when we see that the beast has been unleashed. Yup. Final double page. We see that Loki is out of his chains. They followed Zoro's idea, by the way, and he still has a chain on his ankle, so we're probably not going to see Devil Fruit, but yes, Loki is up and at it. Hajrudin and the new giant warrior pirates are shocked. Even Luffy's shocked, right? Because Luffy was like, wait, like, he's injured. Shouldn't he be, like, unconscious right now? Loki gets up, he smiles malevolently, and we see him reach for his weapon, and Hajrudin says, stop, Loki. Stay away from Ragnir. And apparently, according to the kanji and read on, Ragnir translates to Iron Thunder. Bro. Ragnir. Dude. Years and years people have been theorizing that we might get Thor's hammer here in Elbaph. Granted, a lot of people, myself included, thought it would go to Usopp, but the minute we saw Loki, we saw the giant hammer behind him, right? Whenever you see Loki tied to the tree, you see his giant hammer weapon, and now he's reaching for the weapon, and Hajrudin says, stay away from Ragnir. Bro, I think this is the One Piece equivalent to Mjolnir. Thor's hammer, the lightning hammer, I think this is it. Iron Thunder, it's literally called Iron Thunder, bro. Oh, man. Yeah, Loki's gonna go crazy. Like, forget the fact that Loki has, chains on his ankles still. I think he's gonna be nuts. But right now, though, I don't know what Loki's plan is. Is he gonna fight the Straw Hats? Is he gonna fight his brother Hajrudin? Or is he gonna go after Shamrock and Gunko? Because obviously, they're the ones who beat him half to death. I think it would make sense if Loki had a priority list and Shamrock and Gunko are at the very, very top, right? So there's a lot of things going on here, man. And last thing I want to end off on is the fact that since it is called Iron Thunder, you know, we can't forget that Ripley said that, you know, lightning is Elbaph's greatest weakness. You know, oh, man, it's... Oh, I think Loki might just cause Ragnarok, bro. I think he's going to destroy this tree, man. And you got to imagine, Loki probably does not like this tree, too. Like, they chained his ass up to this tree for 6 years, man. I'd want to chop down that tree the minute I get out. So yeah, Loki is going to be really interesting. I am really excited actually to see Loki and Hajrudin's interaction. You know, Loki and everybody else, you know, he's just going to fight them on sight. But for Hajrudin, it's different because that's his brother. Or, well, that's like his stepbrother, right? It's his stepbrother. So I wonder if Loki's going to try to quell things between them, or if he's just going to immediately throw hands. And of course, like, when it comes to Loki, the reason why people don't like him is because he killed King Harold. So if Loki just pleads his case or tries to explain what happened, maybe we'll get something out of this. That's what I'm hoping for, but Loki just kind of seems like a madman. So, you know, anything and everything is on the table. But with that being said, though, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this chapter. I think it sounds amazing. I'm excited to see what Ragnar looks like, because from every angle we saw beforehand, it looks just like a giant normal hammer. So maybe now that, like, we see the full design, it might have like some crazy patterns to it. Maybe it's made out of some different material. Not too sure. But again, I just want to know what you guys think about this, man. I think this is fantastic. You know, I want to see how this ties into the mural. And if this does tie into the mural, you know, if we do get like a random lightning strike, it confirms that the mural is all the third world, which again, major revelation if that happens. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I got to go grab some Wendy's chicken nuggets. They're absolutely fantastic. Not sponsored by Wendy's, by the way, but man, they're pretty solid. The Ghost Pepper Ranch, not bad, not bad. But thank you all so much for being here, and I will catch you all later. If you want to see more of my side content, by the way, I have a gaming channel over at Syvduck, and I also have a Twitch channel named Syvduck as well, where I stream every other night. And not just that, but we will have a follow-up video to this video. So if you post a comment down below, whether it's a theory or just, you know, observation, I will probably be reading it in the next video, which will release, I think, Saturday or Sunday. I don't know yet. But again, catch you guys later. Sorry I'm like super hyper and talkative. I just drank like 2 things of coffee by accident. But have a great day, guys. Peace out.